This video demonstrates how the overwrite functionality of Page Generator Pro's content groups operate. We have some detailed documentation on our website that is also linked from the documentation link here. And this details the various settings that are available and what they mean based on when you're first generating content or regenerating content. By default, the option will be selected as yes if the existing page is generated by this group. We'll demonstrate how that works. So we have our interior designer content group here with some content. So let's do a quick edit here. We'll click on save, navigate to our content group, scroll down and click generate via browser. After a few moments, we have 10 pages created. And if we go to pages here, we have all 10 of them as expected. If we view the first couple of pages, we have our location keyword being replaced in both, and we have the permalinks as they were in the content group's configuration. If I were to then make an edit, save my content group, click on the content group tab and generate again, we'll see in the log this time that it says that it's updated each of these pages because a page with the permalink was found and already generated by this group. So clicking on these shows that we've overwritten the content, noting that we have the edited part here and we have the edited part here as well. Moving on to the no skip if existing page generated by this group option, which we'll show in our documentation here. This will skip generating pages if they were previously generated by the content group. So in this example, if I were to make an edit here, add another paragraph of content, click save, go to my content group, make sure that setting is set to no, and once again we generate via browser. What you'll see this time is a slightly different log that warns us that we skipped the generation of pages because a page with that permalink has already been generated by this group. A use case for this setting might be that we go back into our keywords, for example the location keyword, and we want to generate additional locations. So if we add some additional towns, we'll just use the same latitude and longitude, but we'll do London and let's do Manchester. We've added 2 new locations to our keyword, and if we look at our pages, we're happy with the 10 that we've got. We don't wish to overwrite these. Perhaps we've already used AI or something else, so we don't want to regenerate that content. And so we'll go into the content group. We'll make sure that our setting is set to skip if the existing page is generated by the group. If we scroll down and click generate via browser, we'll see our 12 pages are generated. The first 10 are skipped because they already exist. And we'll see at the end of our log that we created the London and Manchester pages because they don't yet exist and they've not been generated by this content group. The next option for overwrite is no and skip if the existing page exists. Now this differs slightly from the previous setting that we looked at, because what this will do is it will only generate a page if there is no page with the same permalink regardless of how that page was created. So as a reminder, the setting here will only skip if there's an existing page generated by this specific content group. This option here, where we skip just if the existing page exists, is regardless of the content group or method used to produce that page. Illustrate this with an example where we have a manually created page for the first location, Abbeydale. So I've created this outside of the plugin, and to confirm that in our keyword system, our location has Abbeydale as the first term. If we go into our content group, scroll down, generate via browser, and we'll see after generation that we skipped the first page because a manually created page with that permalink was already found. And if we look at that, we can see that the content is preserved. There have been no edits made to this by the plugin. And then if we look at our second and third entries for Acton and Barnsley, we can see that the content has been derived from the content group, which is the correct and expected behavior. The inverse of this would be the yes if the existing page exists. And if we look at our documentation, what this means is that if an existing page matching the permalink exists regardless of the content group used or whether the page was created manually, the plugin will overwrite that page. Now this is quite a destructive action We would only recommend this if you performed a site backup and you're completely confident that you want to use the content group for all of those location pages in this example. So once again, we have our manually created page here, but we're confident that we want to overwrite this even though it wasn't created by Page Generator Pro, and therefore it will become within the control of our content group whenever we perform a generation routine via the browser. So we'll go ahead and confirm that the overwrite setting is set to yes if the existing page exists, save our content group, click generate via browser, and we'll see what happened this time is the first page was updated, and that's because we manually created this page, but we instructed the content group to overwrite if there's a permalink match. And we'll see that for our 2nd through to 12th entries, the pages were created because they didn't yet exist on the site. And if we go to our Pages tab, we now have all 12 pages, and if we view the Abbeydale one, it now has the content derived from the content group. The final option is no, and no simply means every single time you run the generation routine, it will generate additional new pages. There's rarely a use case for this. There are some customers that have a specific need for this, but to demonstrate how this works, remembering that we have 12 generated pages, if we generate via browser, you will see that another 12 pages are generated. Each of them have the -2, so where WordPress detects a duplicate permalink, in this scenario it will append it with a number. And if we look at our pages system, we now have 24, and we see a duplicate here. For the majority of cases, the default setting of yes if the existing page is generated by this group will be absolutely fine. And we do have some detailed documentation linked from this video that details each of the settings and their descriptions. When an overwrite setting is defined as yes, so either of the two variants here, you'll see an overwrite sections option displayed below this. Now this provides a granular control over what we change when we're regenerating content. And we'll run through a quick example here. So we've reset this site so we have no pages at all. This is the first time we're doing this. We'll have a single paragraph of content. We'll save the content group, scroll down and click generate via browser. We get 12 pages created. This is the first time we've done this, and to confirm quickly, they all exist here. And if we go back into the content group, I want to make a change to the content, but I don't want to overwrite anything else. So here's some additional content. I can then untick the sections I do not wish to overwrite. So in this example, let's uncheck everything except the content section. We'll generate again. The log will tell us that we've updated the 12 pages, and if we look at them, we can see that the content has been edited here. To further demonstrate this, we can also do the inverse. So perhaps, for example, I want to update everything in the content group except the content. So if I go and completely delete this, here's something completely different. If we save that content group, click on the content group tab and confirm we are not going to overwrite the content section, what will happen here is this content will not be applied to our existing generated pages here. And we'll go ahead and demonstrate that now. We'll click generate via browser. We can see the update taking place across our pages. And if we look at the first result, we still have the content from before because we haven't instructed the plugin to overwrite this section here. If you're using a supported SEO plugin or custom field plugin, for example, advanced custom fields, you'll also see your overwrite sections for these with the ability to toggle them on and off as well. So in this example, if we enable all of these to begin with, and we define some metadata here, so perhaps I want to do meta description for location city name. We have an advanced custom field called contact, so perhaps I display this somewhere in a custom theme. If I save my changes, we'll generate our pages for the first time, and if we look at our first example and edit the page, Yoast section that has the meta description with the keyword replaced, and we can see the contact number has been placed here. If we go back to the content group and we untick these two options, any changes I make to them in the content group won't be reflected in those existing pages when we regenerate. So if we add edited to here, and let's say we invert the number as so, click save, Scroll down, click generate via browser. We see that our pages are being updated. View the first result, edit the page. What we'll observe this time is that our meta description hasn't been edited, as it doesn't have the edited text after it. And just a reminder of how that looks in the content group here, so it's not including that. And we can see that the original phone number from the first generation has been retained, and again a reminder that we changed it here. So the overwrite sections are really powerful if you want to selectively overwrite parts of your existing generated pages.